On the eve of World Health Day, it is my proud privilege to welcome all our respected guests, dignitaries, members of the audience, to this special enlightening session on meditation and a candid conversation with Revered Daaji, Global Guide Heartfulness. It is our proud privilege to welcome among us today Mr. Ashok Khemka, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Government of Haryana. We welcome you, sir. We also welcome Dr. Jaideep Arya, Chairman, Haryana Yog Ayog, Government of Haryana, and the International Coordinator for Patanjali Yog Peeth. It is our privilege to welcome among us Ms. Indu Agrawal, Head of Disha Foundation, Mr. Jagjit Singh Majha, President Credai Punjab Chapter, Managing Director of PCL Housing, and other respected dignitaries and members of the Haryana Yog Ayog. Today promises to be a very special evening where our dignitaries are going to felicitate Revered Daaji, who has recently been conferred the Padma Bhushan Award by the Government of India from the hands of our Honorable President of India, Srimati Draupadi Murmu. It is going to be an evening of conversation and a session, a guided session of heartfulness meditation, which will be conducted by Revered Daaji himself. We are happy to welcome all the members of the audience who have taken the time to be present here this evening among us. If meditation is what you have been looking for, if you have been looking for a way to go deep within and find a way to retain that meditative state, that state which can take us to doing whatever we do with a calm, peaceful inner being, then heartfulness can offer that to all of us. We will be guided by Revered Daaji through what heartfulness is and what it can bring. Millions of people around the world have been practicing heartfulness meditation and have benefited from the immense, beautiful practice of heartfulness. In fact, it is not just a 30 minutes on or 1 hour meditation alone. It becomes a way of life. This way of life takes us through the journey of life with all its ups and downs and helps us to retain that inner centered poise at all times. So we await the arrival of Revered Daaji. Welcoming him and greeting him are our respected dignitaries, Mr. Ashok Khemka, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Government of Haryana, Dr. Jaideep Arya, and our other respected guests. Let us all together warmly welcome Revered Daaji when he arrives with our silent presence, our complete, peaceful presence, a few minutes of deep breathing, and a lovely smile on the faces, which is already there, but because of the mask, it may not really be visible, but we can make out that our audience is all set and smilingly ready for the evening that promises to be a most special one today. While we await revered Daaji, let us watch a short video clip on revered Daaji and understand the work of this great personality.
जिनको प्रेम से दाजी बुलाया जाता है, हार्टफुलनेस गाइड और श्री रामचंद्र मिशन के अध्यक्ष हैं। वो सभी को निःशुल्क ध्यान प्रशिक्षण उपलब्ध कराने के लिए एक वैश्विक आंदोलन का मार्गदर्शन कर रहे हैं। 160 देशों में फैले 15,000 स्वयंसेवक हार्टफुलनेस प्रशिक्षकों की मदद से दाजी कई लोगों के जीवन में बदलाव आए हैं। अपनी पुस्तकों और वार्ताओं में वो भौतिक और आध्यात्मिक जीवन को सफलतापूर्वक एकत्रित करने की गहरी अंतर्दृष्टि साझा करते हैं। अनेक विषयों पर दाजी स्वयं सेवकों का मार्गदर्शन करते हैं, जैसे कि पर्यावरण, कृषि, चिकित्सा, शिक्षा, मानव कल्याण और कला। भारत में हैदराबाद के पास कान्हा शांति वनम में उन्होंने एक मॉडल समुदाय का निर्माण किया है। ये दुनिया के सबसे बड़े ध्यान स्थलों में से एक है। 2025 तक पूरे भारत में 3 करोड़ देसी और स्थानीय पेड़ लगाने की पहल उन्होंने शुरू कर दी। उनके मार्गदर्शन में एक ऐसे फोन ऐप का भी निर्माण किया गया है, जिससे हर समय निःशुल्क हार्टफुलनेस ध्यान का अनुभव किया जा सकता है। जमीनी स्तर के सामाजिक कार्यकर्ताओं को स्वास्थ्य, कृषि और मानव कल्याण के क्षेत्र में ट्रेनिंग प्रदान की गई है। उन्होंने आयुर्वेद, योग और ध्यान की जागरूकता पैदा करने के लिए अनेक कार्यों की शुरुआत की है। समाज में उनके महत्वपूर्ण योगदान के लिए दाजी को पद्म भूषण से सम्मानित किया गया है।
On behalf of Sri Ramchandra Mission, it is my privilege to receive this award. Very, very grateful to all those who have made the selection, and I'm also grateful to all the volunteers. We're looking forward to uplifting the consciousness, changing the bent of mind, bent of thinking, and attitude of human beings so that we can coexist to form a united humanity.
So revered Daaji is present here, he is among us. I will request our respected Dr. Jaydeep Arya, Chairman, Haryana Yog Ayog, Government of Haryana, and International Coordinator for Patanjali Yog Peeth, to receive and welcome revered Daaji. On behalf of all members of the audience, we respectfully welcome revered Daaji, Global Guide Heartfulness, among all of us. It is truly a privilege to be here with so many of our members of the audience from the Tri-Cities of Chandigarh, Mohali and Panchkula. We are proud and privileged to welcome on behalf of all the hearts present here, Revered Daaji, Global Guide Heartfulness. He is a spiritual leader and the president of Heartfulness Institute, Sri Ramchandra Mission. He has recently been awarded with the Padma Bhushan. Revered Daaji is a man of many dimensions, an environmentalist, a spiritual leader, a best-selling author, and most of all, as he prefers to call himself, a lifelong student of spirituality. A true silent change maker, Revered Daaji supports the transformation of individuals, influencing the young and old alike. And this radiates to families, societies, communities, to all of humanity to bring about a sustainable social change. We now invite Revered Daaji to guide us through what is heartfulness, what is its transformative potential, and to address all of us.
सभी को हार्दिक प्रणाम और आज खास हनुमान जयंती की शुभकामनाएं आप सभी को और प्रार्थनाएं। संक्षिप्त में बताया जाए what is heartfulness? It is all about doing things with your heart. दिल लगा के करना, मन लगा के करना। And whenever we talk of heart, we always talk of joy. We talk of peace. Imagine you may be enjoying great health, Hanumanji like health, nice. Moment something goes wrong at emotional level, what becomes of that health? You are hurt emotionally because someone insults you. Despite of having good health, something that goes wrong at emotional level, mental level, it ruins peace of mind. Physical health becomes secondary then, see. Likewise, what supports this? Emotional and mental health. In our Shastras, we have this concept of 5 koshas, starting with Annamaya kosha, then comes Manomaya, Pranamaya, Vigyanmaya, and it goes on till Anandamaya kosha. Each outer kosh is supported by one innermost kosha. For example, our body, our activities with 5 senses, external and 5 internal, they are supported by our brain, our mind. If any nerve is cut, for example, if the eye, the optic nerve is damaged, then we will not be able to see. Your eye may be just perfect, but this connection, once it is lost, you cannot see. So, each subtler organ supports the outer grosser organ. It's very clear. Now, what supports the mind? We say brain is supported by the mind. Now, what supports the mind itself? We call it consciousness, the subtle bodies. In Shastras, they have classified this body into three: grosser body or the outer sthul sharir, antarik sukshma sharir, and innermost is karan sharir. As long as we remain identified with the outer, there is nothing wrong in attending and identifying with the outer. But it should not be at the cost of inner bodies. Often youngsters, and especially we all grown-ups, also keep asking these questions. We don't ask these questions loudly like children, but we all have unanswered, unresolved questions till our last breath. And that question is, who am I? Where did I come from? Why am I here? Where am I going? The cause of this universe, cause of my existence. We often ask these questions. Children, they're not afraid of asking. We don't ask anymore because we act as if we know everything. But we still lack a lot of answers to many unsolved questions. And as long as our answers are not somehow naturally begotten, it's like this: when you fail in one class, you come back. You repeat that class again and again till you get the answer. Same thing happens with our life. Until we find the key to open the next dimension, until you get the answers of this dimension, you cannot find the answers, you cannot make the entry into the another dimension. It is as simple as that, and that's what our Rishi Munis call it as recycle of birth and death, cycle of birth and death. So this we must understand. Next thing, can we break this cycle of birth and death? Is it necessary? What is wrong with it? There is nothing wrong. Absolute freedom is when you choose to come or not to come. Like Lord Buddha, Swami Vivekananda, Guru Nanak Sahib, Dhyan, many great souls that walked on this planet and in this area, they are all willing to come back. I'm deliberately using the word willing to come back to serve the humanity. Most of people, they have to come back because they don't have choice. They have a choice. They have a choice either to keep going further into next and next and next dimension. But they choose to come back to serve the humanity. They sacrifice their onward journey. And that is true freedom, where they can make choice. You can have great health, great emotional well-being, mental well-being, spiritual well-being, but what if you lack freedom to act? What surpasses everything else in life is this freedom. And God has given that freedom by granting freedom to us. If He had not given the freedom, He would have also lost His freedom. In a small house, where there are half a dozen family members, if I don't give freedom to my spouse, then I'm also tied to her, making sure she doesn't cross the lines. If I don't give the freedom to children based on their age, then they too will rebel. And in the process, I myself will be hurt. So it's best to give freedom as per age, as children, But then later on, enough is enough. Most of people, they lose peace of mind. They try to change the children's mindset based on their mindset. You can't do that. Even simple things like, do you believe in God? Adults say yes. Children say, I don't know that. I really don't know, and that is the real answer. They're very honest about it, that I don't know. Adults, they say, yes, I do believe God. And elderly people, older folks, who were born almost 70, 80, 90 years back, if you ask them, do you believe in God? They all say yes. But when we ask a question, why do we believe in God? Then they quote Shastras, they quote Pandits, they quote all kinds of things. They quote mothers and fathers and grandparents. Rarely we find a person who says, I believe because I have experienced. I have experienced and I can also make you experience. That's a different level of a person. And that's what our Sanatana Dharma is all about. Our background, our rishis, our heritage. When our rishis and sages walked on this earth, they simply did not walk with ordinary belief. They walked on the confidence of this very experiential existence of their life. Experience is greater. Do you believe in the sun and the moon and the stars? We don't need to believe. Why? We see them. We experience them. Same thing with divinity. It can be experienced. We have to find a way. Ancient India was full of such people, granting not only experiences, sharing their experiences, motivating people that you can also do it. Let's have tapasya together. And that tapasya was universal. A few days back I had the opportunity of spending few very fine days of my life at Patanjali Yogpith. The secretary and the director, I would say, in that category is present here. Swami Sadhyayi Swami Yoga Rishi Ramdev Baba's right hand, I would like to say, Jaidev Arya ji is also with us. So, pranams karo sabko sab. So I had the great opportunity, honor to be there. And I shared with them this simple example, which I had learned while I was studying in Gurukulam. Example goes like this. They ask a question. What happens to a newborn child? As soon as mother delivers a child into this world, what becomes of that child? What is the first sign of child's arrival? A loud cry. Baby begins to cry, isn't it? That is the moment when mother also smiles. Though she is under tremendous pain, agony, if you might call it, yet she smiles. Perhaps that's the only moment when baby cries and mother smiles. But later on, whenever the baby cries, mother would also cry. But that very moment is so joyous, but that life-giving force is arrived, has arrived. If this life giving force did not arrive, baby would not be in a position to cry. Baby cannot cry. If baby cannot cry, then doctors would run around frantically, trying to resuscitate this child, tapping from the back, stimulating the breath, stimulating the heart, and still baby does not cry. Mother cries. Family members, they cry. Why? Because that life-giving force that had to come did not come. Your life-giving force is with you. Mine is within me. And that's why our sages, rishis, they call it Antaryami, one that dwells within. That gives us life. That keeps our mind active. That keeps our bodies active. Life-giving force, you may call it Jiva, some may call it Atman, some may call it soul, you call it life force. It does not matter what you call, but it is inside you. One who gives life is within you. It's not in any heaven. It's not in Dwarika. It is not in Kashi or Mathura. It is not some deity guiding to you go to this gate, you go to this gate. It's none of that. It's within you. It's within all of us. Moment it decides to leave, we call it the end. The one who is so vital to our existence. Someone gives us tea, someone gives us clothes, someone gives us some nice gift, we say thank you. Have we ever said thanks to this inner deity? You can't even bow down in front of your cherished murti, cherished statues, without whom you cannot even move, can't even breathe. And we bow our head day in and day out to the outbound entity. How would the inner entity feel? It's like a husband in love with a girlfriend and not respecting his wife. What becomes of that family? The deity is within. Wife is in your house. Don't flirt outside. If you do, your life is ruined. Same thing spiritually. If my search is outward, we too are doomed. So whenever our search begins within, each session of meditation, even the intention of meditating, even though you may not know how to meditate, simply closing your eyes, sitting in silence under a tree or by the riverside or the lakeside, grants you so much of peace. Even if you meditate without a guru, still closing eyes and try to feel that inner divinity grants you so much of peace. Imagine you running to Dwarika, Mathura, driving like crazy. Your soul you are carrying on your shoulder, you can say, or it comes on your sleeve, and you are so afraid also. You lose peace of mind. You keep worrying, when would I go to Mathura, or when do I go to this place? You are restless in a very negative way. Your pressure keeps going up. Kitne baje jana hai? 3 baje, 4 baje, 5 baje, and you spoil whole night sleep. Mandir mein कौन से टाइम पे जाए तो I can bow easily and peacefully. So you stand in the line for 2 hours, 3 hours, forgetting the inner deity without whom you cannot even stand in the line. Isn't it? And then what do we do once we are in the sanctum, sanctorium? we are face to face with the God, great God that you wanted to see. In front of a murti, what do? We stand and close our eyes. Every person who has entered the sanctum sanctorium closes his or her eyes, trying to feel that, which you can have done at home also. Seeing with eyes. It's not a right solution. Let me give you some few logical arguments to think with. Dissect this argument. Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, two great personalities, or any great personality whom you consider as Avatar Purusha. Think about them with the same arguments. The physical form with which they walked on this planet. How many could understand? How many could have realized that he or she is a divine personality or the Avatar Purusha? Was it understood during Lord Rama's time or Lord Krishna's time? If Lord Rama was understood as divine personality, why would Kaikeyi be mesmerized into greed and ask her son to be bestowed that golden throne? Power was also a greedy stuff then, not only now in politics, it was then too. Even in Ram Rajya, greed was prevalent. Lust was also prevalent. If lust was not there, why would Ravana abduct such a personality like Mother Sita? So form doesn't guarantee any understanding or realization of divinity that represents that form. Even in that original form, they could not be recognized. Same thing with Lord Krishna. How many did recognize him as divine personality? And even when he shows that, look who I am showing you my ultimate form. When he grants that universal Vishwarup darshan, then Arjuna gets also so frightened. Please come back to the original form with which I am familiar. I can't see this, it gives me so much of fear. Original form, when bestowed, you are afraid. Normal form with which we are used to, you can't even recognize their divinity. It only means through eyes we cannot see what is behind the form. One has to go beyond the form. That's why our Sanatana Dharma says what? From Akar to Nirakar. From sound to Sunya. Even when you chant, what happens to your mind when you are chanting? Take this as a parallelism with your phone call conversation with anyone. You are talking and talking and talking and talking. Other person waits for you to shut up. Or the other way around. The other person keeps talking and talking and talking. You have to patiently wait. When this fellow stops, then only I can say something. Mantra, japa is like that. You are too busy. God wants to answer, but you're too busy. When will you find that inner silence and become receptive to what He has to convey? Only in the deeper silence of your heart we can perceive. Only in the deeper silence of the heart we can perceive, not with the eyes. That's why, what supports all this? Physical body is supported by the inner Sukshma Shariras, which Sukshma Sharir is made up of Chit, Manas, Buddhi, Ahankar. The most beautiful thing we have been bestowed with is this Chit, our consciousness. Today, even the science is baffling, trying to even define what consciousness is all about. You ask a great neurologist or a psychologist, ask them to define consciousness. It's very difficult. But our great rishis like Valmiki, Vasishtha, Vishwamitra, and the epoch that was there during Ram's time, Lord Rama's time, Raja Janaka, sage Astavakra, you see what epitomized their existence. What is so great about Vasishtha Muni? He left behind a great literature, Vasishtha Sanhita. And when you read Vasishtha Sanhita, it deals with all kinds of consciousness. It's thousands of pages long. It gives definitions, various levels of consciousness. Sage Patanjali also, recent millennia, he has understood the concept, what consciousness is, and how to purify this consciousness. Just as we need physical body to understand and support our mental body. Mental body needs another body, then another body, and it goes on inside. See? There has to be synchronicity, harmony, and that is what is called yoga. Harmonious unity with all, within as well as outside. Once it's established within, outside is not too far. What was the dialogue between Raja Janak and Astavakra? It's all about consciousness. If you read Astavakra Gita, it is all about consciousness. Vasishtha Samhita, as I said, it's all about consciousness. Dialogue between Astavakra, Janaka is consciousness. When Lord Rama and Lakshman and Mother Sita were in forests, their favorite pastime discussion was on consciousness. So if you read Lakshman Gita, you will find certain hints on this Chetana. Later on, I think, just as you have a specific period in which certain topics are discussed, in last 100 years, topics seem to have widened to such an extent, enormous knowledge acquisition has happened, enormous. I doubt if there was any other period in such a short time we have gathered so much of knowledge. And now they are exploring on consciousness. Yoga simply defines what consciousness is. There is simple definition. Degree of awareness. Consciousness can be defined as degree of awareness. How aware am I? By that token, it also means how unaware I am. And life is all about doing things with awareness and in great unawareness. Anything that we do with awareness is noble. Anything that we do with unawareness is very negative. Even if you donate something to someone who is needy, but you are unaware of what you are doing, it is still not very good. You have to fully understand the consequences, circumstances of this very fact of donation. One has to remain fully aware, not only of what to give, how much to give, to whom to give, when to give. This full awareness must be present, otherwise that too becomes futile exercise. Meditation is all about becoming more and more aware of your innermost being. After showing Vishwarup Darshan, Arjun falls at his feet, begs to return back to the original form, the friendly form, and says, "My Lord, what if an ordinary person wants to know about you? How to do that? How will the posterity learn all about you?" He says very simply, "Hridayame pashyasi. Hridayame pashyasi." Look myself, feel myself in your heart. Upanishadic Vedantic message is also that I am present in every little heart, not only of human beings, but even the insects and animals. Everywhere, in every heart I am present. I shared with you a small logical argument about mother delivering a child. The Antaryami is within. Lord also says, I am within in every heart. Why must we still look around, try to feel the presence outside? It is like a child going to college with a stencil, A, B, C, D. If you go to your office, go to your college with stencil, you will become a laughing stock. And same thing is in religious world, in a spiritual world. Move around with stones and images. It's good for children. It's good for a beginner. But when will you open your eyes and say, "My Lord, now I am ready to feel your presence"? Best is to understand one thing. When you do offer a prayer, be honest. Are you really offering a prayer to the Lord? Do you believe in the Lord in the first place? So we have to begin with this very subtle, very direct prayer and say, "Lord, maybe you're there, maybe you're not there. I really don't know. Be honest about this. I don't know whether you're there or not. And if you're there, I would like to feel your presence." And with that attitude, with that manobhav, when we approach our puja, when we worship, something magical can happen. Having believed, suppose you believe in God, it's a great substitute actually. What do you do next? Suppose I continue to believe all my life, yes, He is there, 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 He is there. But what next? Have I done anything about this belief? If you have not done anything about that belief, then that belief is also a whitewash. Absurdity. It would have been better if you were honest and say, "I don't believe because I have not experienced." or I would like to believe if I can experience. So we should have this simple innocence and simple humility to accept that, no, I don't know. I need to experience the presence. So with this attitude, I would like to give you a glimpse into meditation today, if you are interested. I would request not to keep getting up and keeping your phones, even in vibrations. It will disturb you only. And in turn it will disturb your neighboring person. So kindly switch off your phone completely. Yeah? So we'll first begin with relaxation, and then I'll give you some instruction how to move into meditation. Okay. Gently close your eyes, please. And invite prayerfully the energy from Mother Earth to enter your system through your feet. And as it enters and keeps moving upward, it helps us relax. So here we go. Let this energy enter through feet, helping you relax your lower legs. Permit this energy to move up to your calf muscles. Now into your knees. Feel the relaxing effect of this healing energy from Mother Earth in your thighs and hip area. Now your lower and upper back. Allow this energy to move in the front, in your abdominal area and chest area. Let this healing energy enter your shoulders. Feel them almost melting away, becoming lighter. Allow these energies to descend in your arms, your biceps, your elbow and lower hands. Now your neck muscles. Permit this energy to move up, helping you relax the entire face, starting with your chin, your lips, your nose, eyebrows and eyelids, your earlobes, your forehead, and top of your head. Please scan your system from top to toe. If any area is still tensed, revisit with the healing energy from Mother Earth to help it relax. Now gently have your attention towards the heart, almost 3 fingers below your left nipple. Make a suggestion that the source of divine light is already in my heart, that is attracting my attention inward, and I am receiving this flow of loving transmission from the source. So we'll meditate on this idea of presence of divine source in our heart. By chance any thoughts distract you, gently remind yourself that now I'm meditating. So we'll continue like this for a few minutes, maybe 10-15 minutes. So let's all
That's all.
While keeping your eyes open, also have your attention inward and try to recollect how you are feeling, how you felt during meditation. Scan and see your condition that was and that is now, before and after the meditation. Make a mental note of it and make it that condition that you experience as your second nature. Every day this condition will change, and try to imbibe that on a daily basis, creating a great transformation within yourself. I'll be very happy to answer it if you have any questions.
We request our members of the audience to kindly raise your hands wherever you are, and our volunteers will bring the mic to you.
Master, good evening. Is there any difference between consciousness and Atman?
Thank you. What is the difference between sun and sunlight? Babuji used to say, our Guruji, the children, when they are young, their only way of entertainment, toys and playing around with other friends, toys. As we become adults, teenage time, little more advanced, we are mesmerized by romance. That is next level of enjoyment. Then, when we talk of yogis, they talk of Sat Chit Anand. They are also glorifying their existence with Anandam. They are also playing, yogis are also playing with toys, toys of consciousness. We have to explore as a true yogi, go beyond all this and see what supports this consciousness. Without soul, there is no consciousness. And what is it that supports the soul itself? So we keep on like solving one riddle and moving to next riddle, to the next riddle, to the next riddle. That is our spiritual journey, in one way if you analyze it. Yes. The fifth row.
Pranam Daaji. My question is that whenever I closes my eyes, so I could see different colors coming in front of me. So what's the significance of these colors coming? And every time I close my eyes, I could see the different color coming. So what's the significance of these colors coming?
There are many reasons why we experience various colors with closed eyes when we are meditating. One is, let's say if you are meditating outside in a garden. Yes, sometimes the sun passes, the clouds passes, and sometimes clouds just, they are not there, very clear. So this luminosity also changes our inner perception. That is from the outer effect. Inner effect, whenever flow of energy moves inside, we do feel changes in colors. They also attribute our position. But every chakra is attributed to a particular color. But when you are seeing multiple colors, it only shows we need to get stabilized little by little. We need more practice into the system. We are still scratching the surface. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
प्रणाम दाजी। मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि हम अपने बच्चों में जो अभी भी 6, 7, 8 साल के हैं, उनके अंदर स्पिरिचुअलिटी और सिंप्लिसिटी किस तरह से इनकलकेट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि आजकल की दुनिया में छोटे बच्चे भी बहुत ज़्यादा बाहर की जो ग्लैमर से इफ़ेक्ट होने लग गए हैं, तो किस तरह से उसको हैंडल करें?
शुरू तो घर से ही होता है। जैसे हम बात करते हैं एक दूसरे के साथ, उसकी भी असर पड़ती है उन पे। वी हैव एज पेरेंट्स, हमें खुद उनके लिए एग्जाम्पल बनना है। आप कैसे बैठ के खाना खाते हो, सिंपल थिंग्स लाइक दैट। हाउ डू यू पिक अप द बॉटल और द ग्लास, हाउ यू कन्वर्स, हाउ यू लुक, हाउ यू वॉक। You can see the difference in a child whose mothers and fathers are of a particular nature. Another aggressive parents, those children are of a different trait. Because when you do study genetics, we now do understand the external environment also affects the inner behavior. And the training starts much before actually. What manifests outside, all those markers are already registered within when that child was growing in mother's womb as a fetus. Everything that a child has to learn, he learns within 2 years, plus those 9 months. Afterward, it will be only a whitewash.
Good evening, Master. As you talked about the degree of awareness before, I just wanted to know how to measure that degree.
Awareness is a subjective experience. You alone can experience that. I cannot measure the awareness of your being here, but I can certainly measure your awareness through machines like fMRI to a certain extent, but not completely. For example, when you are in fMRI machine, if you are thinking too rapidly, it will come in as alpha waves, and you can see how fast they move, like a child's mind. But per contra, if you are listening to a music which you enjoy, that calms you down, or if you are reading a book in which you are so absorbed, and you can measure that on fMRI or EEG, electroencephalograph, there you will find the waves not like those alpha waves, but much reduced. If it was 30 hertz per second, this would be perhaps about 7 to 14 hertz per second. And if you are at sleep, it will drastically reduce to 3 to 4 hertz per second. So you can measure only within that limit. But how to measure the consciousness of a yogi who seems to be in a delta mode as if he is sleeping but still fully aware, not only of this place but something that is going outside, something that is happening in another continent. So certain things of that order, you just cannot measure it. You can only perceive it as an individual. The higher level of consciousness is even more difficult to decipher and express it through scientific gadgets. But they too have limitations. Even simple thing like describing how do you feel when you drink water. Can't describe. The inner experience is much grander and too complex. It's like you're trying to bring the sky into a small angan of your house and describe the sky, measure the sky. We find much greater difficulty in expressing consciousness. Thank you. One last question.
नमस्कार दादी। जब मेडिटेशन कर रहा था आंखें बंद करके एकदम, तो नेगेटिव थॉट्स मैंने अवॉइड कर दिए, एकदम नहीं आने दिए। लेकिन जो कुछ जैसे आफ्टरनून में मैंने कुछ कॉमिक वीडियोस देखी जो हंसा रही थी, वो हंसाने वाले थॉट्स बार बार आ रहे थे, उनको रोक नहीं पा रहे थे और अपने आप स्माइल्स आ रही थी, मतलब। लेकिन जो नेगेटिव थॉट्स तो अवॉइड हो गए, लेकिन जो लाफिंग थॉट्स थे वो नहीं हो पाए अवॉइड्स।
How did you feel after? ध्यान के बाद आपको कैसा लगा?
फील तो बहुत अच्छा हो रहा था, लेकिन हंसी जो अंदर से आ रही थी ना वो रुक नहीं पा रही थी।
आने दो, हंस लो थोड़ा। क्योंकि हमारा फर्ज इतना ही है, आंख बंद करके ध्यान करो। यदि नेगेटिव थॉट्स हो, दे आर एज बैड एज पॉजिटिव थॉट्स। When you analyze it, सपोज हम ध्यान में बैठे हैं और आपको इतने अच्छे थॉट्स आ गए कि मेरे पास 10 करोड़ रुपया है और मैंने 10 मेरे दोस्त थे उसको 1-1 करोड़ दे दिया, ये भी तो विचार है, अच्छे विचार है, लेकिन आप मेडिटेशन नहीं कर रहे हो। नेगेटिव थॉट्स भी आते हैं ध्यान के दरमियान। जब नेगेटिव थॉट्स आते हैं तो लगता है अभी क्यों आता है ऐसा विचार। ठीक है, तो वही हमें सिखाता है हाउ टू रेगुलेट द माइंड। धीरे 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 वी बिकम चैंपियन ऑफ इट। ये इंडिविजुअल समस्या है। नेगेटिव थॉट्स आपके पास आया और यदि मैं आपको ध्यान करना है तो मैंने आपको रास्ता तो दिखाया कि we remain unmindful of these unwanted thoughts. Remind yourself that at the moment I am meditating. No need to fight, no need to give any extra attention to these unwanted thoughts. Moment you become aware of the unwanted thoughts and try to avoid it, they become stronger. So remain unmindful. Gently bring your attention towards the heart and say, now I am meditating. So thank you everyone. Now lots of hands are raising, but I think we should respect time. You can write to me if you like to have any answer. Kamlesh, KAMLESH at heartfulness.org.
Thank you, Daaji. Thank you for guiding us through that wonderful meditation and also guiding us through an understanding of life, of spirituality, and of heartfulness. I would now like to invite Dr. Jaideep Arya, Chairman, Haryana Yog Ayog and International Coordinator Patanjali Yog Peeth, to kindly come to the dais and felicitate Revered Daaji. I would now like to request Shri Ishwar Duhan ji to kindly come to the dais to felicitate Revered Daaji on behalf of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police. On this day of felicitations, I would now like to invite Mr. Jagjit Singh Majha, President CREDAI, Punjab Chapter, and the Managing Director of PCL Housing to please come to the dais and felicitate Revered Daaji.
It's a Green Peace Award for his contribution to humanity from Guardians of Nature.
Mr. Jagjit Singh Majha ji would like to confer Daaji with the Green Peace Award. This is on behalf of the Guardians of Nature in recognition of his landmark contribution to sustainable ecosystems. I now invite Dr. Pawan Gupta ji, Shri Naresh Punia ji, and Dr. Harish Chandra ji from the Haryana Yoga Ayog to please come to the dais. I now invite Mr. Satyaver ji and Mr. Prem ji to come to the dais and felicitate Revered Daaji on behalf of the Patanjali Yoga Samiti. I now invite Ms. Indu Agarwal ji, head of Disha Foundation, to please come to the dais for the felicitation. We thank all our guests and dignitaries for the felicitation. It is now my privilege to invite to the dais Dr. Jaideep Aryaji, Chairman, Haryana Yoga Ayog, to please say a few words on this momentous occasion.
ओम स्वस्ति पंथः अनुचरेम सूर्यः चंद्रमसा विभव पुनर्धता अघनता जानता संगमे महि। ओम शांतिश शांतिश शांति। परम श्रद्धे परम चेतना को अनुभूत करवाने के लिए माँ प्रकृति की, माँ धरती की कृपा से हम सबके बीच में पधारे, हम सबके बहुत ही आदरणीय और पूजनीय आध्यात्मिक चेतना के प्रत्यक्ष विग्रह परम श्रद्धेय दाजी को हम सब इस ट्राई सिटी के वासियों की ओर से प्रणाम करते हैं, वंदन करते हैं, नमन करते हैं। श्रद्धेय दाजी, यदि मैं परम श्रद्धेय स्वामी जी महाराज की उस कोट को इन्वर्टेड कोमास में कहना चाहूँ तो पूज्य दाजी के नेतृत्व में एक बहुत साइलेंटली एक स्पिरिचुअल क्रांति हो रही है। और हमने ये जाकर कान्हा में जाकर अनुभव किया। बहन एकता जी ने बहुत सहायता के साथ आमंत्रित किया, भाई संजय जी के साथ, जसवीर जी के साथ हमने एक मंच साझा किया कि एक श्रद्धेय स्वामी जी महाराज का वहाँ योग शिविर की व्यवस्था की। परंतु हमने देखा कि वहाँ 150 देशों से अधिक देशों से भाषा नहीं समझते परंतु आध्यात्मिक चेतना के साथ जुड़े हुए लोग वहाँ उपस्थित थे और उन सब आध्यात्मिक चेतनाओं को जागृत करने का कार्य हमारे स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर पूज्य दाजी कर रहे थे। ये हमारे लिए गौरव की बात है। पूज्य दाजी ने आज जो सेशन लिया उसमें उन्होंने एक बात को बहुत धीरे से, बहुत अच्छे से मुझे आज समझने का अवसर मिला कि व्यक्ति जन्म बार बार क्यों लेता है। कई बार ऐसा लगता है कि हम बार बार जन्म क्यों लेते हैं और उस बंधन से क्यों मुक्त होना नहीं चाहते, या होना चाहते हैं तो क्या हुआ। तो बहुत स्पष्टता के साथ उन्होंने कहा कि जो बच्चा एक क्लास में फेल होता है तभी उसे बार बार उस क्लास में बैठने का अवसर मिलता है। अर्थात ईश्वर ने हमें इस क्लास को पास करके मोक्ष की ओर आगे अग्रसर होने का अवसर दिया था। हम उसको पास नहीं कर पाए, पार नहीं कर पाए, इसलिए हमारी ये डेथ और बर्थ की चेन लगातार चल रही है। और ये क्योंकि मेरी भी स्पिरिचुअल यात्रा परम श्रद्धेय स्वामी जी महाराज के पावन सानिध्य में, अनेक संतों के पावन सानिध्यों में निरंतर आगे बढ़ रही है, हर रोज कुछ सीखने को मिलता है। और आज इस घटना चक्र से मुझे लगता है कि हम बहुत अधिक अग्रसर हो पाएंगे। हमारे बीच में ITBP के माननीय IG साहब श्री ईश्वर दुहन जी, हमारे दोनों DIG आदि भाई अश्विनी जी, राजेश जी हमारे मध्य में हैं, उनका अभिनंदन करते हैं हम। हमारे हरियाणा योग आयोग के माननीय सदस्य डॉक्टर पवन जी बहुत सीनियर हमारे भाई नरेश पूनिया जी, रजिस्ट्रार डॉक्टर हरीश जी। और हमने बहुत धीरे से आमंत्रण दिया पूज्य दाजी को कि आप हमारे कार्यालय में आएँ, हमारे पिरामिड में एक ध्यान का सेशन हो। परंतु जैसे ही जानकारी मिली कि एक कार्यक्रम यहाँ पर इंद्रधनुष में हो रहा है तो हमें लगा कि एक सामूहिक सब लोग मिलकर इस कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाएं। हमने पतंजलि की टीम को संपर्क किया, ITBP को संपर्क किया, स्थानीय कार्यकर्ताओं को निमंत्रण दिया और प्रियंका जी, हमारी बहन जसप्रीत जी, निशा जी, इन सब साथियों ने मिलकर एक अच्छी से व्यवस्था बहुत कम समय में करके दी। अपनी पूरी टीम का अभिनंदन करते हुए और आप सबका अभिनंदन करते हुए कि आप सबको ये ऐतिहासिक क्षण अनुभूत हो रहे हैं, जहाँ एक यात्रा आगे बढ़ रही है प्रत्यक्ष से परोक्ष की ओर, आकार से निराकार की ओर, बाहर से भीतर की ओर, मूलाधार से सहस्त्रार की ओर, ये यात्रा निरंतर आपकी आगे बढ़े। इस भाव के साथ परम पिता परमात्मा ने, परम चेतना ने, चेतना के इस महापुंज को आपके साथ जोड़ने का प्रयास किया है ताकि हम सब लोगों की यात्रा अध्यात्म की ओर आगे बढ़ पाए। हम पुनः हरियाणा योग आयोग की ओर से, हरियाणा सरकार की ओर से भी माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री मनोहर लाल खट्टर जी, माननीय स्वास्थ्य और गृह मंत्री श्री अनिल विज जी की ओर से आपका स्वागत और अभिनंदन करते हैं। और इस नाते भी अभिनंदन करते हैं कि भारत सरकार ने अभी आपको पद्म भूषण से सम्मानित किया है और उसके बाद आप पहली बार आप सीधा यहाँ पहुँचे हैं। ये हमारा सौभाग्य है हरियाणा का कि आपका स्वागत करने का हमें अवसर मिला है। हम आपका पुनः अभिनंदन करते हुए आपने एक सहजता के साथ ये कहना चाहते हैं कि आपका बहुत स्पष्ट मानना है कि परिवार से ही परिवर्तन आरंभ होगा। मैंने अभी 2-3 टॉक्स में आपका अनुभव किया कि आपका ये स्पष्ट मानना है कि परिवार एक महत्वपूर्ण कड़ी है, परिवार को हमें संस्कारित करना है, परंतु संस्कार की कड़ी आरंभ होगी बचपन से, और वो भी पहले 2 वर्ष के अंतर्गत। तो हम इस बात को गहरे से समझें और संस्कारों की इस कड़ी को अपने बच्चों तक पहुंचाने का निरंतर प्रयास करते रहें। और इसी प्रयास के अंतर्गत हरियाणा योग आयोग ने एक प्रयास किया कि पूरे भारत में हरियाणा एकमात्र स्टेट है जिसने योग को, गीता के सूत्रों को, महर्षि पतंजलि के सूत्रों को पहली कक्षा से 10वीं कक्षा तक अनिवार्य घोषित कर दिया है और इसकी शिक्षा दीक्षा यहाँ आरंभ हो गई है। हमने अनेक बाकी कार्यक्रम किए होंगे, परंतु आज का ये जो कार्यक्रम था, आज की जो ये संध्या थी, ये आज हनुमान जयंती पर हो रही है। पवन तनय संकट हरन, उस परम चेतना के अग्रदूत भगवान राम के अग्रदूत उस हनुमान जी को हम नमन करते हैं अपने पूर्ण यहाँ पुरुषार्थ के साथ। जहाँ यहाँ जितने लोग बैठे हैं वो आज हनुमान जयंती की इस अवसर पर एक ऐसा अवसर बना कि आपसे हमें दीक्षा लेने का अवसर मिला, आपसे शिक्षा लेने का अवसर मिला। ये हमारा सौभाग्य है। जय भारत, जय भारती। आपको पुनः हम सब की ओर से प्रणाम, नमन, वंदन।
Thank you, Dr. Arya, for your kind words. We request Revered Daaji to address us.
सभी को प्रणाम। खास को कुछ एड्रेस करना नहीं है, लेकिन जब हनुमान जी की बात आ गई, हनुमान जैसे बनना है तो उनकी नंबर 1 क्वालिटी को समझने की बहुत जरूर है। हमारे आदि गुरु जी बता देते, हनुमान, Hanu means without, man means this honor, respect that one craves for in today's society. It has always been like that. One who tends his existence, life, in a very subdued manner, in a very insignificant manner, with utter humility, as if I am the servant of the Lord, and conduct a life and serve one and all, starting with family, ultimately the nation and the globe. Our duty as individual is not to impose, but to absorb. Thank you. Thank you. That's all. और कुछ बचा है?
Distribution of the Wisdom Bridge book to the dignitaries.
सबको देना है। मैं नीचे जाके दे दूंगा, नहीं तो एक के बाद एक आएगा तो मुसीबत।
We thought we could have a photo of them.
करो।
We are grateful to Revered Daaji for that pearl of wisdom, and it is now a very precious, wonderful moment where we will invite all our dignitaries of today's event to the stage to receive revered Daaji's best-selling, wonderful book, The Wisdom Bridge, from his own hands. I respectfully invite onto the stage Dr. Jaideep Arya ji, Miss Indu Agrawal ji, Mr. Jagjit Singh Majha ji, Mr. Ishwar Duhan, Dr. Pawan Gupta, Mr. Naresh Punia, Dr. Harish Chandra, Mr. Satyaveer, and Mr. Premji. After receiving this iconic bestseller, The Wisdom Bridge, from his own hands, we will request our guests to stay back on the stage for a photo op.
Can you just announce, Jyoti Parya, we made a preceptor of Sahaj Monk, he wants it to be announced. As while he's receiving it.
Dr. Jaideep Arya, who has graced us with his kind words, this is a very special day for him and for us at Sri Ramchandra Mission, as he has been made now a preceptor of the Heartfulness system, Sahaj Marg Paddhati. The Wisdom Bridge, not just a book, but a divine guidance on how to live a life that echoes in the hearts of our young ones. For those of us in the audience who have yet to read this book, it is a book that will guide us through life, will guide us through the principles of parenting and of how to live a life that will bring to the future generation of humanity a truly spiritual existence. So we urge all our members of the audience to take this book of the Wisdom Bridge back with them. On behalf of Sri Ramchandra Mission, Heartfulness Institute, Punjab and Haryana chapter, and Haryana Yog Ayog, we thank from our hearts Revered Daaji for his gracious presence among us today. We also thank all our dignitaries and guests who have spared their time to be a part of this event, and all the members of the audience, our respected citizens of the Tri-Cities of Chandigarh, Mohali, and Panchkula, to be present here this evening. Meditation will be conducted here by Revered Daaji in the same venue, this auditorium, at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. We request all the members of the